wasting time, I would like to introduce myself. I'm called Dr. Farida Hauha. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I work with Study from Uganda Limited as a company pharmacist, but also head of regulatory affairs. I also work with the WHO as international GMP consultant, and also I do regulatory affairs consultancy. I have a firm for consultants on regulatory matters. That's it for me, and I'll dive straight to introduce our main guest. Our presenter today is a colleague also, a pharmacist by profession, with a very rich, vast knowledge and wisdom in pharmaceutical clinical pharmacy as an oncologist, like oncology, pediatric oncology pharmacist. Dr. Shona Georgia Odomo Arao is a dual licensed pharmacist in Uganda and United Kingdom, specializing in pediatric oncology pharmacy. She holds a pharmacy degree from the University of Manchester and a master's in cancer and nanomedicine. At the Uganda Cancer Institute, she's pioneered pediatric oncology pharmacy, and she has developed emergency protocols for children and organized Africa's first pediatric oncology pharmacy workshop that was in 2022. She later co-founded the African Group of Pediatric Oncology Pharmacists and SIOP Africa. Now she's leading training curricula and co-authoring a textbook of African pharmacists. Her global recognition includes the SIOP Young Achievers Award that was in 2024, international presentations in Spain and Canada, and she has also had specialist rotations at St. John the Dio Children's Hospital in Spain and Cambridge University Hospitals, NHS Foundation Trust, UK. In 2024, she was featured in the SIOP Women in Leadership article as one of the leading women in pediatric oncology worldwide. She is a mentor, leading advocate for pharmacy specialization in Uganda and Africa, that driving initiatives that strengthen pediatric cancer and emergency care, while inspiring young pharmacists, especially women, to pursue advanced training and leadership. That is a brief snapshot about our presenter today. And without wasting time, we shall request that as she presents, you take note of your questions in the chat box. Please post your questions in the chat box. We shall track all the questions and we shall try to address all the questions after the presentation. That will come at the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. We will have the presentation on now. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farida, for that very good and marvelous introduction. So I'm just going to put up the slides and make sure that I run through. We do apologize, like Dr. said, I'll make sure my presentation is not longer than 30 minutes. The topic today is just specializing in pharmacy. I have a disclaimer. This is just based on experience, obviously, some sort of expertise, but it's not only majorly with clinical. This talks to everyone in their field, in whatever field you are. You can borrow some sort of ideas or some way to tailor specialty wherever you are successful in. Though today it will be majored in clinical practice, but I'll also touch into community, industry, and other aspects of pharmacy. So Dr. Farid has given a brief of my bio. I don't think I need to go into that. So I'll dive into the presentation. So what does specialty mean? It means you harness a field and you go forth with it. You get a niche in a particular area about medicine, and from there you learn what are the gaps, what are the problems, and you solve as a pharmacist. Okay, so it's just advancing expertise in a you're now focused onto something. So there are examples like oncology, pediatrics, infectious disease, emergency medicine, pharmacoeconomics, a lot of things a pharmacist. Actually, the summary is from your hair to your nails. You should ideally be thinking of a specialty. They do exist. So everything that happens to us, whether you're ill or anything, we normally first use medicine. So if someone thinks about it that way, can choose, oh, dermatology, I could get into that. Or can choose infectious disease, I could focus into that. Could choose, oh, sometimes you get into emergency situations, I can choose it. Or you can choose internal med, other things that actually use medicine. Anything that uses medicine requires expertise of a pharmacist. So that's in short what it means for a pharmacist. So how I specialize, very interesting story. I happen to have the privilege of entering into clinical practice. For those in clinical practice, you know how it is. You don't fit so well simply because our roles are not well understood. People think we dispense. That's not true. We are actually giants for medicine. Apothecary was the first thing in medicine to exist. There were apothecaries. Those were people who used to give drugs. During the World War, when penicillin was being formulated, doctors were going to apothecaries. The wounds, the gun wounds were sorted by medicine just from the plants and herbs. So history begins with you, a pharmacist. But when you get into practice, it's not the case, simply because people haven't understood. So I definitely had a hiccup there. But what helped me? Going for ward rounds. Ward rounds were the best thing I ever did for myself. Someone out there would say attending meetings. Doctors have meetings every morning. Can attend a meeting. So how I pursued mine, I attended ward rounds. There has never been a pharmacist in pediatrics. In life, it's either you are a child, an adult, or elderly, period. All those people have medicine needs, where there are no pharmacists in any of that or any field. So when I entered there, so many things were needing a pharmacist intervention: protocol design, protocol adherence, usage, utilization of as simple as antibiotics. The biggest consumers we know of antibiotics is actually pediatrics. No proper documentation, no follow-up, no recommendation, no guidelines. So that to me made me feel, oh, actually, there's a niche here, there's no pharmacist in pediatrics. Let me pursue this. So that's how I entered. And with that passion, or with that positioning, the head of department got a liking. And the next thing I was given a project to do, which was developing protocol for emergency situations for children that present late at the institute. So we do have kids that used to present late, children. University of Cambridge was looking for a pharmacist who is interested to help them come up with the protocol design and proper figures to see how they can harness emergency medicine for children with cancer. So that's how I got involved with that. And slowly you can see that now you're with Cambridge, things are upgrading for you. You're now having an exchange program with the pharmacists wherever they're coming from. Just like Dr. Farida mentioned, I was in San Joan. All these opportunities came just from this very little project. Then also, because I hadn't studied pediatrics, pharmacists, we don't have pediatrics in the curriculum, I Googled, okay, are there ped pharmacists? Yes, actually it's a whole thing. Are there groups? Are there education material? Are there things that can actually enrich my knowledge in pediatrics? And there were plenty. So I joined, as you can see, I joined neonatal and pediatric pharmacy group. It's in England. I'm already registered in England. I don't need to really do anything out of the ordinary. All I need to do is pay up a subscription, and there are so many conferences, so many workshops which I've now been attending, and that way I've been able to improve on my pediatric. So, like Dr. Farida said, I have a few achievements. I may just highlight on one which relates to the presentation theme. So in March this year, I normally have, I equate myself with the surgeon's team. It's one of the disciplines I feel really relate and really need a pharmacist, and we don't have clinical surgical pharmacists in Uganda. There's a course in North Korea. There are so many groups for surgical pharmacists. If you Google anybody interested in surgical pharmacy, just Google, you will find conferences, you'll find groups, you'll find workshops, you'll find things that help guide you to see how do I become a clinical surgical pharmacist? How does a pharmacist, a medical, a multidisciplinary team in surgery accept me in? Those are the steps, baby steps that you take to build your career in that direction. So as you can see, the Association of Surgeons recognized the pharmacist. It was a very interesting case. They had conjoined twins in Mulago, and actually they had a multidisciplinary team working on the child, and one of the key players was a pharmacist. And for me, that was very interesting. That means that pharmacist already sees value in his or herself in that area. So when you get with the multidisciplinary team, you are in that team, you're already understanding what are the needs, what are the pharmaceutical needs, what are the things I can bring on board, how are these people thinking, how can I correct? Because one of your strengths as a pharmacist is being a resource bank. You must always be a resource bank. Doctors like to ask, doctors like to consult. That's in their nature. Imagine a pharmacist with all that knowledge. You have not only drugs, you have where to find information, you have where to find guidelines, you have where to do protocols, you have where to even have a family of pharmacists doing a similar thing. Doctors like that. So it's something that helped me as well in pediatrics. Yeah, so there are other things, Dr. Farida.
Can I say something? Our colleagues, I'm reminding you to post your questions in the chat box. We shall look at them after the presentation, please.
Okay. So there's also part of the achievements I've had that could also inspire some young pharmacists or pharmacists in practice. I also had a chance to speak to the students at Makerere. I presented to them, and they rewarded me with a very good article in their pharmaceutical journal. So when you have some time, you can read, say something about pediatrics. So the picture on the very, very left side was 2022, I think, where I did a podcast. I was interviewed. My first ever talk about pediatric pharmacy was at the institute. And that podcast is online. Anytime, feel free. You can ask if the link is not there, I can send it round. So those are the few things. And then you can see there's current status of African pediatric oncology education efforts. This has me in that article. We had a workshop under SIOP. SIOP is the International Society of Pediatric Oncology, the most prestigious society and family of anybody in the world working with children in cancer. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, radiologists. It's the best society. So I'm affiliated there. I do have a group there. We are now a working group, clinical pharmacy working group. So every year when we have a conference, every 2 years, we do publish a paper to see the status quo. So in there, it's an interesting paper in there. There's something about pediatric pharmacy. These were the times when I was just starting this dream in 2022. So the impact we know, when a pharmacist is on board, we have a lot of impact. Utilization, budgeting, supply chain. If a pharmacist is specialized in supply chain, imagine the level of access to medicine, imagine the level of reduced drug stockouts. Imagine the rational use. Imagine the levels we shall reach where there's rational use because somebody has identified a problem or somebody has specialized in this area and gets the best out of it. So we know that for public health, we have improved outcomes. For us at the institute now, children with emergency cases, we don't lose them now to the cancer initially because we do now have protocols that are working for them, and I do follow-ups every now and then. One of the papers I also presented at the Uganda Pediatric Association, that was back in 2022, and also with this journey, I have also been put on the panel to develop guidelines for neutropenic fevers. Neutropenic fevers are termed as pediatric oncology emergencies. Those are emergency situations. When your neutrophils are down in cancer, we worry. And pharmacists, you know why we worry. So we worry. And I'm on that panel. So we also had we also convened in Ghana in 2022, all speaking about this. So as I go forward, I hope some people are already inspired to think and see how in whatever they are doing, they can actually move in a direction that gives them responsibility, gives them that position where you have purpose, gives them that feeling of, wow, I have put an impact. And specialization is one of the easiest ways to have that feeling of purpose. So this is again the same thing, why we should care. We are pharmacists, we know. Those in practice, you know. When you are drugs, we have to monitor dose accuracy. Now for me, pediatrics, I do struggle a lot with dose accuracy. Pharmacists, you know, children's pharmacokinetics and dynamics is a bit different from the adult. So you have to have your wits around you. You need to know how to change doses quickly, how to think through formulations quickly. In a resource-limited center, you need to have those kind of skills. So those are the things that a pharmacist only can do with medicine, okay? Just like a doctor has their wits as well. They think of how to diagnose you quickly. A pharmacist has to also have that when they are dealing in a multidisciplinary team. So we know, I don't want to go through it. I'm very sure you know the importance of us being in a multidisciplinary team. So what are the common myths? We only dispense. No, we don't. We actually shouldn't be dispensing. We should be decision makers in whatever area. We should be educators. We should be researchers. We should be resource banks. We should be doing things that enrich drug knowledge. Medicine is used for everything. I'm very sure we all are aware. Oh, I have headache, medicine. Oh, my thumb is throbbing, medicine. Oh, I fell down and hurt my hip, medicine. Oh, I'm coughing, medicine. Oh, I sneezed a little, and so anything, somebody will always think of medicine first. Complementary or natural, both, a person will think about that first. Okay. So in England, actually, if there's anybody from England, the system has improved to the point now pharmacists are triaging. So that's community pharmacy. Anybody in community pharmacy, you can have a read with the pharmaceutical journal. Pharmacists are now triaging in England. When you go, because they have understood, the first world has understood that when somebody is ill, the pharmacy is the first point of contact. So the Western world has understood that we can use that ideology to actually lessen burden in tertiary institutes, in hospitals. Okay? If we treat patients properly in the community, then we won't have hospital overload or won't have people overstaying in hospitals. So these are for the community pharmacists. Okay? So we are decision makers. They may not do clinically, but you can see that you are in the decision-making bracket. Okay? So you are educators. For me at the institute, I have my app always on the phone. A dose is wanted, I'm there. A drug is changed, I'm there. I'm contacted. Not because I'm the cleverest, but because I offer value. How do I offer value? Every time they call, I have an answer, and from a reliable resource. There are very, very good sources of knowledge out there that you need to get. So I use Up to Date. It's really good. It reboots every time, and that's something that it's actually not even here. It's expensive to apply for, but it's a very nice app to get. So specialization is not only for doctors, pharmacists. Doctors understood this long time. Okay, doctors understood that as a doctor, let me go to surgery. Another one said, let me go to palliative care. Another one said, let me do ped. Another one said, let me do dermatology. Doctors understood. A doctor moves the nurse and the pharmacist. So if doctors are specializing, why are we not specializing in whatever field? We have pharmacy law. Dr. Farida is in pharmacy law. A lot of things. FDA now is doing repurposing of medicine. I'm sure there's a pharmacist out there who's wondering, what can I do? We now have things about repurposing molecules, industrial pharmacists. There are articles. They are looking for people to have that intelligence, that knowledge. We need clinical trials coming in. If you have an idea of repurposing something as an industrial pharmacist, you give it to your department head or something. It can bring a lot. What am I saying? Think outside the box. You can specialize not only for doctors. Barriers, obviously for me as a pediatric pharmacist, one of the barriers is the fact that my primary training doesn't have pediatrics. This can inspire somebody out there who feels, oh my God, I don't even know what I can do with my life. I was like that at one point. When I joined the ward round, I was like, huh? Okay, actually there is ABCD. When I Googled, I was like, oh my God, there's a society, there are other groups, okay, there's school, there are all these opportunities. Okay, where do I start from? Somebody out there in the community, not everyone works in government, which I do appreciate. You can let me take an example of a community pharmacist. You're there, you're thinking of marketing, you're thinking, oh, I did 4 years of marketing. But you can specialize in marketing. I don't know much about marketing. Maybe there's something you know in marketing, and you just need to maybe check or Google or find out, okay, pharmacists for marketing, maybe in the US. What platforms are there? What meetings do they have? What are they doing? If you feel you've Googled and you think it's not working, there are many other issues, many other areas you can go to. If you're in clinical practice like me, it's easier. I do agree, it's quite easier because in Cancer Institute we need a lot of specialty. We need a pharmacist in neurology, we don't have. Mulago needs that. Any other hospital needs that. You go into urology, you go. We don't have a pharmacist in nutrition at the institute. Okay? So you get nutrition, you go with that line. We don't have pharmacists in surgery. Okay? You get interested, you go in that line. Now, what about me who is not in government? Okay, someone can ask me that. People in government hospitals don't enter because they have attended interviews. There are some who have entered on projects. There are people in the community who are very good medical writers, who come up with proper projects and administry, or who come up with proper manuscripts and generates a project. There are people who have understood the craft or the art of relaying messages through writing. There's a whole medical association. It has volunteers, it has conferences, it has scholarships, it has just Google. That area you're thinking about, just sit over a cup of tea, relax, Google. You will find all you need. I'm not very digital, but I'm sure most of you are. Google, you won't believe what you're thinking. Neurology, pharmacist. There's even pain management pharmacists. They have a whole group, they have a whole setup. We don't have good pain management at the institute. We don't have that pharmacist. You can brought on board even through project, you can write a nice project. You come to the institute, We send you, you go to the head of the department, you discuss, doctor to pharmacist. People just say, think of what you want to do, there are ways out. I can still go through that in another time when you individually reach out, but those are the barriers, not knowing, not knowing what's there, not understanding yourself, not having the primary knowledge is definitely the barriers. So how will it change? I would like to hope that I'm a role model, or maybe I will someday. But also, of course, advocacy, leadership is what I really go for me, and research and innovation. Please, pharmacists, be a resource bank every time where you are, whether in what or what. You go through that line, you understand, you know what's in that field for you. Follow it. Go with it, follow it. Okay? So choosing a path, like I said, identify your passion, use a family model. For me, I do wish and do hope that in due time I have a family of ped pharmacists in Uganda, or even ped pharmacists. You may not go into oncology. You may just stop at ped pharmacy. Ped pharmacy in neurology. So for you deal with neurology issues in children, it's in Mulago, it's there. There's a group that gives us modules. I'm going for a conference in November under that group for pediatric pharmacy. So the opportunities are there. I also would like a pharmacist in nutrition for kids. If they want cancer, no problem. If they don't, it's fine. We follow that line. To a point where I'll be on ward round and I'm like, I have a nutrition case here for oncology, but I have Dr. So-and-so in Rwanda, or I have Dr. So-and-so in healthcare center for. He has been dealing with kids. That pharmacist has been dealing with kids in the extreme malnutrition. Maybe we can borrow. Maybe there's something that the child takes there. Maybe there's something that he's using and those children are surviving. Things like that. So use a family model. All of us I know would like to have families. Family is everything. It's you to define your family, not daddy, mommy. Everyone defines their family. But you know what I mean. You have a family. You have a family of pain management pharmacists. You have a family of medical writing pharmacists, okay? With their serious certification protocols, their organization, you even attend their webinars, okay? You learn that kind of thing. So that's what I use to motivate me to continue talking to pharmacists, and hopefully I build capacity over time to find pharmacists in pediatrics. So seek exposure. People in practice, whether community, industry, or hospital, please seek exposure. Volunteering is not bad, but speak to people, read more, expand your horizons. These opportunities are immense for a pharmacist. This is 2025 and we are still limping through specialization. Imagine you mastered it, meaning it's still a green area. And the moment you harness that, you shall be over and over and above the horizons. So please seek exposure. Go to school if you must. Switch sides if you must. Do what it takes to really follow that specialization you've chosen. Like in England, I talk about it where I studied. In England, there's a board of specialty pharmacists. You can go and Google, they have exam papers. So you can find maybe a gastrointestinal pharmacist. There's a paper for them. Maybe there's a ped pharmacist, they won't sit the same paper. There is a neurology pharmacist, they won't sit the same paper. There's a community pharmacist, they won't sit this. So when you go there, board of specialty pharmacists, read about that, see what specialty is actually going to have their exams done. So join societies, familiarize yourself, and the next slide is about moving from generalist to specialist. So commit to continuous learning. That's all I do. Attend conferences because I'm already in practice. Of course, I'm rewarded by my job, but I do aim high. So I just attend conferences, write papers, meet people. Like I met this lovely group that has given me this platform. and see where I am now speaking to you about pediatric pharmacy. I would love to hear another person come here, another lady, vibrant, telling us about gastrointestinal pharmacy or gyne pharmacy or community pharmacy, and they're opening up lavish and good care homes, okay, providing proper care home service that is exceptional, that we have never seen, that is new on the ground by a pharmacist. You're following up medicines, you're following up this. We have children in schools. I've not had any rally from community pharmacists. Community pharmacists, you have not told us our children in school taking their medicine. Our cancer patients go back to school. You can design a program. A pharmacist out there, I don't know, but a pharmacist out there can design a program that helps schools, that helps children to incorporate their life back. Cancer, we take medicine like, I don't know, sometimes even 30 pills, a child of 14 years, and for long term, you know, and we're here to talk about adherence. But there are loopholes there, okay? The secret is finding the problem and the solution. The secret is, what's the problem? I can handle this problem as a pharmacist in whatever field. So I've done networking. I'm very pleased to say Dr. Farida is WHO. WHO has contacted me with my group. We're 23 executive members now in Africa, writing a textbook to train pediatric pharmacy. The training will happen in 2027, not because we're lazy, but I don't want to go so much in what I've done, but it's taken time for me to move from the first pediatric pharmacy workshop in Uganda to the second one we had in Johannesburg in 2024. I had another second workshop. I got scholarships for those who could come. We had people from Senegal, wherever, Africa. It was a very good discussion, and we launched the training curriculum. Now we have a third workshop happening in Lagos in April, and we are going to launch the textbook. And WHO is very much interested in what we are doing to train pharmacists in pediatric pharmacy on the continent. So my encouragement to you is that you start slowly. It won't come now. I know someone out there can say, oh, she's privileged and all. I do understand that, but it's not about that, because some people are in better positions and could maybe not relay something in a way I'm relaying. So I'm grateful for this opportunity, but also to share that what I'm saying is not from Mars, okay? It's to encourage you, because I've done it and I'm still doing it. So we have a third workshop, and I've sent out the flyer. Send in your abstracts. There's high chance of getting a scholarship to go present. It's also nice to be in Lagos, eat chili. The president of Women in Pharmacy is from Nigeria, and it would be nice to, of course, enjoy her cuisine in her own country.
That's true.
So what are we doing now? Like I said, we're planning a third workshop, writing a textbook, manuscripts are out. And then also I like to use a certain fascinating story to encourage pharmacists out there. So I didn't learn pediatrics, like I said, but my primary specialty actually is cancer nanomedicine. I designed a drug for lung cancer, but it didn't take off here because when I came here, it's a bit, nanomedicine is not really very probably understood, or it's not a field that has been really thought about, but it's really good because nanomedicine is where we engineer the existing molecules to target, so targeted therapy. I'm sure if a pharmacist is in your field, the clinical pharmacist, if you're in your field, I'm sure you need targeted therapy for certain diseases. Well, in PED, we do need. So that's nanomedicine, engineering, like I think you've heard of liposomal doxos or liposomes on a particle or adenoviruses to target, that kind of engineering. So here it hasn't been really taken off, but at the institute now we have nuclear medicine, those who want radiopharmacy. You're going to use a lot of nanomedicine, a lot of nanoparticles in whatever you will do. So, I'm in pediatrics. I don't know basic pediatrics. Yeah, I know pharmacy. There's a book, there are modules, there are everything. Okay? So I decided, why don't I go and do something in emergency medicine since I'm already developing emergency protocols. Where's the course offered? University of Edinburgh. So I applied, and I get a very interesting email back saying, are you sure? We have never had a pharmacist apply for such a course. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm sure. They're like, let us talk to you on Zoom. And we talk on Zoom. And they asked me a few questions and things like that. And for me, it's an online, I chose the online version because the training will be based here. I've studied abroad and I have seen, you study abroad primary, when you come back, you take long to get your problem solved. But when you're here, you're on ground, during your school, you're understanding your people, it's easier to incorporate yourself when you're finished. It's easier to even have connections, friends, this my team is already interested in you quickly. So that's an advice I would give. So I was given an admission based on just talking, I convinced them, and I was given admission on the spot. So what I'm trying to say is, you can do any course in your line. You just have to apply. When they say, but you're a pharmacist, I was told I've been the first pharmacist to ever apply for this. Well, the pressure is on me to come through, but this is something that can inspire a few of us who are thinking of impossibilities. Nothing is impossible. Put your heart in it. So that's what's happening with me. So that would give me a baseline of pediatrics. So if I learned that you have a baseline of pediatrics, you have a baseline of emergency medicine, you're equipped with skill that can create that recognition and also create that trust with the multidisciplinary team. It's of course absurd that a pharmacist should kind of seek trust. It's not supposed to be like that, but that's life. So when I feel like if I do this will give me a skill set. So now I'll be pediatric oriented. It gives you that skill set. So always focus on skill set wherever you are. What skill set do I need? How can I get this skill set? You focus like that. So you can see one of the things that can go forward is just guideline development. I've talked about teaching sessions and then other things. So the new technologies, people who are out there, we have new things to do. Not every time you should be clinical, I don't know. Sometimes it could just even be what's trending. What's trending now, I think AI or something. Yeah. We don't have digital health tools to monitor many things. Drug theft, I don't know what we don't have, and people need those apps. For example, the way Momope came, I think mobile money or Momope, that kind of thing, helping people ease money sending. You can find even there's a supplier out there who wants to come to Uganda and wishes there's
Zengamba twegweko ku Sunday, oba twegweko ku Tuesday, tugende baby tugende oveva mwe